We're here with Whitney Ricci, founder and owner of Ricci Insurance Group. Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you very much, Pablo. Thank you, Greg.
Of course.
Yeah, Whitney, you have a pretty particular relationship with JWB. How would you describe your relationship with JWB?
It is true. It is true. I wear many hats. We were discussing before we started rolling that I believe that I am the only person who is an owner. I own a rental property with them. I'm a tenant because I lease my office space from them. I'm a private lender, and I'm a vendor because I work with them on all their insurance.
And there's another element that we haven't talked about.
Okay.
That's probably more impactful than those four.
Oh, and I'm a friend?
We were friends in college.
And we were friends.
We were friends in college back in the day, too.
That little detail.
And ever since that's been...
that little detail. And, and our kids play.
So we are
and all that
supremely
kind of
connected.
So, yeah, one of their core values, my team is my family, that we're extended team, extended family, for sure.
I love it. I sense that there's a decent amount of that at JWB, right? Which is part of what this whole theme of this content's going to be about. Mm-hmm. But Whitney, tell me a little bit. First of all, what did you call this?
The very high tech term.
The very high tech. Your classification within
My
the JWB universe.
If we're going to get real technical, I would say that I'm the solo member of the Quad Squad.
The Quad Squad.
That's going to be hard to replicate.
I mean, nobody else.
It's going to be hard.
Ian McKillop, bring it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Shots fired.
Just saying.
Shots
Another
fired.
reason for me to compete / hate on / love on the attorney that works with you guys too.
So Whitney, how long have you had Whitney Ricci Insurance Group? How did it get started? Tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey of going from being friends in college to owning an insurance company. Tell me a little bit about
Sure.
it.
So, I'll limit it to just the insurance part.
Sure.
I've been in insurance for 13 years. I started with State Farm. Got a lot of really good training from them. Great company, great people that work there. But in Florida, what I wanted to be able to offer a lot of options for my clients. And so I made the decision to change my dream, and I bought into Palm Insurance in 2014. And I was partnered with them for several years. And then at the end of last year, we branched off from them, and we are now operating as Ricci Insurance Group. So we do homeowners, auto, business insurance all throughout Florida, Georgia, and a little bit in District of Columbia as well.
Okay.
Yep. So we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of being active as an agency here, which is very exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
We just announced at the end of last year also we're launching a satellite office over in Tampa Bay, which is very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about you were mentioning earlier about when you were getting started and how JWB played a little bit of a role, or actually a big role in your decision making to get stared, and then how it's helped grow your company.
Right. So as Greg mentioned, we were friends, and you really can't get much more of a dream weaver than your business partner, Alex Bacchus. He's the one that he's cut from the same cloth as us, that just thinks that everything is a great idea and everything is going to be great, but also real shrewd business acumen as well. And Adam Regal also is a good friend of mine. So when I was working on my business plan, they were two entrepreneurs that I looked up to very much. They were doing it. They were building this very successful business. You too, but you were still living in Daytona.
I don't think you looked up to
so
me.
I looked up to you. I looked up to you too, but you were still living in Daytona. I just didn't see you as much. They really helped me build my business plan. And what did it look like in a year? When did I need to hire people? How was my cash flow going to work? And things that I hadn't gotten really into the nitty gritty. So that was a pure mentor-mentee type relationship. I was genuinely not even thinking about trying to get their business. And then I got up and running, and because they had, honestly, I think that they saw in that previous relationship how important it was to me and how passionate I was about this, and how I was willing to work really hard. Mm-hmm. And so there were some kind of other things that happened in the background that made them start thinking, all right, we have a lot of needs for insurance. How can we do this the best way? Mm-hmm. So they had a vision. They wanted one insurance point of contact that would do all of their insurance and also be a referral resource for their turnkey clients, not just at the point of sale, but a true relationship ongoing. So they started interviewing agents in town, and I'll never forget, Alex said to me, all right, we're friends, that gets you an interview, but this is business, bring your A game.
Nice.
And it was actually in this room behind us. They did, there were 4 of you guys and
Nice.
1 of me.
Nice.
Asked very pointed questions about my business model, to make sure that it was going to be a good mutual fit. And it went very well. I was super excited. And then at the end, they closed with, and we would love an insurance agent that would actually be on site and would lease space for us in our building, which was perfect because I was looking for office space at the time. So, shacking up with your biggest client has played out well for me. I highly recommend it if you could put that in.
And the
tips and tricks.
free food component
The
doesn't hurt
meal
as well,
plan,
right? The JWB meal plan.
Their meal plan is in my lease.
That's how we locked you up.
That's a nice perk. That's a nice perk.
It's pretty wonderful.
I'm starting to see a little bit of pattern recognition, Greg. You were part of this conversation when bringing.
But honestly, I can't remember what happened last week. So remembering the genesis of us working together is so far ago. I'm super engaged in this interview because I'm relearning how it all started. So,
well, just as a strategy, right? Do you guys do this with all your vendors? Because by the way, I got the same conversation. We'd love a good content creation marketing guy, but if you could be around us and get to know us, is this something that you implemented
only the
back
ones
then,
we
or has
love
it
the
grown?
best, guys. Only the ones we love the best. No, I mean for us, we realize that sort of the magic of JWB is not just in the tactical of what we're doing, but it's people really understanding who we are and really buying into our team and our culture, and we want them to be an active contributor to that culture and really grow that. So for those high level teammates that we bring on, we really do sort of / require / passionately nudge those folks to come and be a part of our team meetings and to really be on site and
and Ian, the attorney that I mentioned, he's across the parking lot. That's about as far as if you have ongoing business every day. But it's so convenient. I mean, it really is. I feel like something comes up at least once a day where it's very convenient to have that. And then when their clients come from all over the world to do property tours, they bring them by the office, and we get to put a face with the name, and they can actually see that, yes, if a tree falls on my house, I want my property manager to be 1 set of stairs down from my insurance agent. And I don't even want to hear about it until I'm signing the check to invoice to pay for the, that's the big win. When we joke that it's no news is good news, but we really truly try to do as much as we can so that they don't have to hear from us at all. And they just get to, ride on that true turnkey, hands-off owner experience.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I never thought about that, right? I think about how you guys are so vertically integrated with construction and property management and everything else. To have the insurance person for when something goes wrong, it's just completely a seamless transition. And like you said, you don't want to be dealing with an insurance person. You just want to get your check back or whatever whatever premium needs to happen. Just make it happen and make it go away.
It's such a big part of why people choose to do business with us is this cohesive approach, this team component. It's different than people normally go and invest in rental properties. They usually have to create their own hodgepodge team together of their insurance agent and their realtor and all that other good stuff. So we looked at this relationship with Whitney and said, this is one of the most important teammates that absolutely needs to be on site because of the value it's going to bring to the client process. And I mean, there's a million things that you guys do.
20-year lease available?
Yeah, right. So many things that you guys bring value to that I don't know, that our clients don't even know because you're doing it in the background. And that's really, the beauty of the relationship that we have.
It's funny you mentioned the stuff that we're doing in the background. Laura, who's been Laura wears many hats in your organization, but she's been our main point of contact for insurance for the last 4 years. And we have to actually make a point to about once a quarter have a meeting specifically to list all of our wins. Because we're trying to do it automatically now, that we don't even take the time to acknowledge, hey, this is that insurance, that for minor example, but there was one of the contracts you guys were working on wanted you to buy pollution insurance. And pollution insurance was going to be $25,000 or something crazy for the amount of what it needed to fit that contract. But instead of selling you a pollution policy, which would have allowed them to check that box, we were hold on, back it up. We worked with Katie a lot on this one, and we got them enough information to prove why you actually didn't need that insurance at all.
Nice.
So because you didn't buy that insurance, it was a very easy way for that to have been swept under the rug, because it wasn't like we saved you on the premium. It was a thing. It was a non-issue thing,
Yeah.
So it's been a good habit to be in business, and it really was probably very influential in one of our core values, which is always be looking for ways to add value. It probably started from doing stuff like that.
pretty awesome.
So
That's
I
awesome.
mean, insurance is one of those things that you don't really think about until it goes wrong. Right? So,
Right.
I mean, and the value you guys bring is huge.
I'm going to have to, I just remembered that the last meeting that we had the last quarter of last year was on Halloween.
Uh-huh.
And so we took a picture. So I am dressed as Captain Marvel, and Adam Riegel is dressed as Woody from Toy Story.
Yes.
And we're having this very important end in the year meeting. So I'm going to get you guys that picture. If you are able to like edit and like switch to that photo, I don't know if that's possible.
We'll just
but
randomly
if you
post
can make that
throughout the
happen,
year.
yeah.
Totally off.
I mean,
off
when do you get to
Halloween.
do that? That's that was one of my highlights of last year, actually.
Wait, I want to talk about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
When you first decided to go off on your own, I know that you had a little bit of a surprise, right? Can you tell us about that?
So yes. So first off, I'll add that I was the classic technician turned entrepreneur. I was an insurance agent. I was good at it. So the natural next progression was for me to start an insurance agency.
Yeah.
And it turns out there are many, many, many other things that you need to be doing when running a business besides just being the person that is selling the insurance. So just when I'm starting to get a handle on that kind of stuff and just starting to hire my very first employee, I found out that I was pregnant.
Oh, man.
And then I found out that they were twins.
I remember that conversation.
So it was so funny. We celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the business the day before my twins' 4th birthday party, and I was like, "That's right. Do the math. Do the
Yeah.
math. This whole time I've been pregnant,
Yeah.
or having newborns, or having toddlers. This whole time while we've been growing the business. So,
Goodness.
that's been very cool. But it's one of the it forces you to adapt. That's how everything is. Every curveball that's thrown at you is an opportunity. And I tell you what, it made me, I say this every time, it made me reach a little farther for that first employee. Brian, who's been with me 4 years now, that guy started October 1st. We had the twins October 27th.
Wow.
Brian had a slightly different license, so he had to resit for the state exam during that time frame.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, learn everything and don't mess up this very valued client that I have here. Keep their stuff perfect and pristine, because when I get back, I mean, it was exciting. It was a great opportunity, but it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I've risked everything for this, and there is a very real possibility that I know my clients could have been like, "Oh, bye. We're not going to wait this out, or we don't know how this is going to go. We're going to go with the sure thing." But it ended up for me really pushing me to work harder, expedite my business plan, hire sooner, get those processes in place that have helped me 5 years down the road now with scaling and things like that.
All while pregnant.
Well, I wasn't pregnant for all 5 of those years. I was only
So it
pregnant
just
for
sets you
9
into
months.
that trajectory
but,
of doing that.
Yeah, but it's funny because we still it's like how long you've been with JWB. I feel like as if you remember when I was pregnant or not,
Right.
because I was pregnant out to here
Yeah.
Sure.
and straight out to here.
Like
the kind of people.
pre-minivan. I remember you pre-minivan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and now I am a total minivan mom.
You-
But I would go down the hallway and I would turn, and people would be like, "How? She's gonna topple over. This does not look possible."
So that's a perfect transition to talk about, it forced you to implement processes, right? Like it forced you to think of how you can build a business that you can work on the business and not inside the business. And one of the, full disclosure, I'm friends with Whitney from college as well, right? Like we didn't know each other in college, but I've known you a long time as well. And we've talked a lot about your, one of the processes that I like of yours is your hiring practice. Can you tell me a little bit kind of how you got to what your hiring process is, how you got to the conclusion that you needed it, stuff like that?
Sure. So I feel that it's very necessary to interject that it is definitely a work in progress. Yeah. And even getting, my systems in place across my whole book of business, we're a lot farther than we were, 5 years ago when we started, but we definitely are still growing that, and we've got work to do on that as well.
Yeah.
So my hiring process, you're catching me at an interesting time, because earlier this week I just completely shook it up. So so it's completely different from when we talked last time. So
Sure.
I have some huge hiring goals this year. So it has become imperative that we make those hires be super solid. So the same themes that were in my hiring process when we spoke last are still there. Which really involved taking me out of the first couple of steps of it, because I'm a salesperson at heart, and I'm a eternal optimist at heart. And if I'm in an interview with someone and I ask them the question and they pause or they feel a little nervous, I have caught myself saying, if I asked you to ABC, you would most likely XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
You're
basically
selling
like giving them the
Yeah.
answer. Yeah. So that is not helpful at all. You find out nothing about that person.
Yeah.
So we're relying more on some of these behavioral analyses that are, is the person pre-wired to be successful in this position before we even talk to them. We use a variety of different types of automated interviews that test, their confidence with technology, their I don't know if I can curse in this, but there's a little bit of give a shit factor. Like if they're willing to, to jump through a few hoops, I can say give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, man, we want to see if they give a shit.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying.
How do you
we're
test
trying
that
to
out? I
find out.
think that's the toughest thing to find.
Just if they're willing to take the steps of doing an automated phone interview or doing a video interview. Sometimes in this economy, there are so many job opportunities. Our competitors, we really have to be competitive to get the top talent.
Right.
That sometimes you find a little bit of where it kind of flips, and you're kind of trying to talk them into the job.
Convincing them, right?
It needs to be the dynamic that and there does need to be a level of they want to come work for you.
Right.
They want to earn it.
Yep.
And so by having those, and if they're not going to do that, it's kind of a deal breaker at this point. So what we have found is that we have to just drastically increase the applicant pool. So that's what you're going to see. Stand by for that. Probably by the time this goes live, you're going to have been, I've been seeing her. She's hiring everywhere. She's talking about it nonstop.
I think it's a really important nugget for those that are small business owners too, entrepreneurs. You feel like, maybe this applicant might not need to give a shit as much because you're a small business and, maybe you're not the big name Fortune 500 company or whatever. But that's not right. Like, if you're ever in an interview and somebody doesn't care more than you about being there, that's a warning sign that that's not going to work today, and that's definitely not going to work when their butt's in the seat actually working.
Exactly. And that's been a hard lesson to learn. And from the, the this is it syndrome that we both have, I find myself when I'm face to face with a person focusing on their very best qualities and rooting for them, and probably also added layer of I hate hiring.
Yeah.
It really does not come naturally to me, and I want to be done with it.
Right.
That I will sell myself on the person's strengths outweigh whatever challenges may face them with being successful in the role, and just jump to hire them to be done with it. So we're gonna slow that down. We're gonna rely more on the science of it, and I really hope that by the time that this goes live, I have new agents that are working for me, and they're like, "Wow, I'm the one that got through all that," and
that's cool.
They know how much we care. I also want to add how much I love my team, and I really view adding new members to the team. That's who these people that I love are going to be spending their days with, and they need to be A-team players only. Great personality fit for the office and same work ethic, everything for the team, not want to let the team down, those types of attributes.
How did you reach the level of self-awareness that you have this is it syndrome and this hiring practice that you were doing before, and even the one that you were doing a month ago wasn't working for you? Like, were there just like major pain points where
Oh yeah, failure. when you try something and you fail, you look back and you're like, okay, why did I do that?
What was failure? Just high employee turnover?
I would say, because I've had some folks that have come and worked for me in the agency that have been great people, and didn't work out because it was more of a right people in the right roles thing. So I don't want, former employees that have worked for me and that don't work for me now to think that I'm saying, that they're horrible, Sure. But it was, in most of the cases, it was a me thing where I put them in a role that I hoped, was going to be a good fit. And if I had really looked harder and, in the beginning, I probably wouldn't have put them in that position. So, yes, it's from failure. That is where you went, from failing. What do you guys say, failing forward?
Failing forward.
Failing forward.
Yep.
Shout out to Adam Riegel on that.
There you go, one of the core values.
I love it. So let's switch from, are there any other awesome business processes that you want to put on display here that you're particularly proud of? Like I just,
sure. Yeah, I'm proud of lots of stuff.
How long do we have here?
So we've got okay. Well, but I can't. Our team building events have been a really fun thing. that we've gotten to do. And then when we celebrated our 5-year anniversary, we had a big party and invited clients and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's fun to spend time with people that you care about and that you value outside of your traditional business, more transactional relationship.
Cool.
So we will do quarterly team building events forever. Maybe even level that up a little bit in 2020. My team doesn't know I'm pondering that.
Level up from a day at Costco?
Listen, that is one of our most fun team building events.
What is this?
All right, I love Costco. Okay, I love Costco, and I've been known a few years ago, multiple members of my team were like, I have never been to Costco. And I grabbed my keys, and I was like, get in my minivan. We are going on a field trip.
We need to video this.
There's one, so it's become an annual thing.
Really?
So now we go. I mean, and like, they don't hate it.
We're bringing the video crew. We're jumping along on the
It is so fun.
Crew.
We go to Maggiano's. I don't know if I can say this. There may be a little bit of sangria. A little bit. And then, I give them gift cards and we go to Costco. And it's Christmas at Costco. It is awesome. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
That is awesome.
We do other things, too. We've done Italian cooking classes. We've done the Go Tuckin', the little 3-wheel tours, the most fun you'll have on 3 wheels, they say. Downtown scavenger hunt, things like that. So I take them other places besides just Costco.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is so fun.
You are a beast networker, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are one of the best networkers I know. I've been to multiple BNI meetings with you, and you run that place. Like, everybody stands up and is like, yeah, I got a referral from Whit. I got a referral from Whit. How do you approach building relationships for business?
So, I have always been a social person, and I feel incredibly blessed that I found a career that I could build a business on that as a skill. In insurance, everybody needs insurance, and when you're an independent agent, you can shop it around to get the best product. All you have to do is take better care of them than the competition. Yeah. So the first 5 years of our business, everything was built entirely on referrals. Yeah. So just being around people and being a good partner. You refer me somebody, I want to make you look good. When Greg refers me somebody, is that, I want to make a commission on, one rental property? No, it's I want to make Greg look awesome so that he sends me 100 more. Yeah. And that all those people want to send us their friends and family. And, that's the real piece of it. Sometimes I think that networking for the purpose of getting business, you miss something in translation there, because that's a transaction, and once it's over, it's over. But if your main goal in earning a referral from somebody is to make them look good and to help them advance in their business because they know you, all of a sudden, that's a wonderful space to live in. Yeah. It's very fulfilling. And when you run into people out and about and they're like, hey, you helped my mom, or hey, I'm a realtor, I sent you to my buyer. They just went on and on about your agent and how much they loved working with them, because that's the thing. It's not always me now. It's my team. Yeah. And I got to have a team that's going to deliver on that also. But again, you find this really nice space where it's like everyone's, Greg's my friend, you're my friend, Cody's my friend. These guys don't know yet. They're going to be my friends. These are my new friends. But it's a great space to live in, and I feel very fortunate.
I hear two very fundamental truths in what you just said, and one is, when you can find your superpower and find a way to serve others with it, to build a business around it, it really puts you in line and lines you up for success, which you've clearly been very, very successful. And then I've also heard, when you're networking, you want to be of service, right? Like, if you're not networking to gain business, you're networking to make somebody look good, right? So I think that really, really works well for you. And it's, great job picking a great referral partner when you're bringing on a...
she's the best referral partner that you could bring on, right?
I believe it. I believe it 100%.
Every time that, I interact with you, even though I've known you for 100 years, every conversation is, you're always thinking of what am I going to get out of this, right? I don't think I've ever had a conversation with you that it was like, what is Greg going to do for me? And I just think that you create that presence, and then
thank you so much.
It's very natural for you.
Thank you.
Other people have to work hard at that.
Thank you. I need to write this down when we go down. I was like, remember that.
Because then
the people are liking it.
Yeah,
it's true.
I know whenever I get a call from Whit, it's going to be it's about what she can do for me, and I know everybody else in the community feels that way. So that's your secret sauce.
I really appreciate it, and that's, again, we have our core values. We put them on our wall. I feel like I've said it 5 or 10 times in this conversation, but the value add, always looking for ways to add value to our referral. We think of our referral partners as clients, the same as we think of the end consumer that's giving us money to buy something from us. They are our clients. So ways that we can deepen those relationships in any way possible is going to be a win for us.
For sure. It's a win all the way around, right? Let's talk about winning with investing. I think that you're a pretty, you're obviously multiple investments with JWB, but I also know that you and Rich have like a unique saving and investing strategy. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you guys have approached investing and saving for the future?
So my husband and I, we're pretty conservative financially. I mean, our main thing is we try and just not spend a lot of money. It's it's as simple as that. But when we get a little bit of extra money, we want to be deliberate with it. And then we also try and do like little tricks where if we pay off a car, for example, we keep that same amount going into a savings account. We also make sure if things are important for us, we save for them deliberately. So we have a vacation fund. We have a car fund. When the car breaks down, the car, and it just money goes in there automatically. I mean, if you saw my bank account with all these little, $50, $100, $25 going here, going there. I mean, when our daughter was born, we opened a safari fund. We're going to go on a safari to Africa when she turns 10.
No way.
Yeah. Well, the twins put a wrench in that because, now I got to pay for 2 more. So maybe it will be like her 15th birthday. We'll see. But yeah, we've got money going into an account every month through a safari fund. So what I like about and how JWB has fit into that, as I've been able to save up this much, I can buy a rental property and not have to think about it at all. Completely, because I do not have the time to be. I tried. Adam Eisman, I tried to manage one by myself because I was trying to be cheap. I was trying to be cheap. I tried for like a year or 2 years, and then I was like, please take it. please take it. Property manager, please. So when I get this much money, I can get a rental property. But I like the fact that if I have like this much money or this much money, and I don't know if I can tie it up for a long-term purpose, that I can do the private lending as an option. Yeah. So I mean, I do that. My parents do that. Did my sister do that? I'll have to ask. I referred my sister. I don't know. I don't know if little sisters listen to their big sisters about that. We'll look it up when we end. But that's been a nice thing for us also. So you got to do the long-term retirement stuff. Yeah. I view the rental properties as like a midterm. Again, this is just my personal philosophy. Yeah. And then the short-term stuff, if I've got a little bit of extra money that's laying around that I know I'm not going to need for a year, why am I going to leave it in a money market making 1% when I could do 10% and do private lending? And most of the time I'm like, give me another one lined up. You guys flip them over real quickly. So
yeah. I was a referral to JWB from you.
Oh yeah.
6 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
See, that's why we locked up the best referral partner right here.
Yeah.
Bringing it all together. We're going to wrap up here. Do you have any kind of like practical advice in the last couple of minutes for business owners, the way that they approach their insurance, the way that they think about it, the way that they deal with an agent that could give them, like an actionable piece of advice that's a good ROI for somebody to think about when it comes to insurance?
Sure. So, I mean, if you're a giant business owner and your business is huge, you've got the biggest shops in town that are going to be competing for your business. Yeah. But if you're anybody that's lower than that, a lot of times we find them not getting, the greatest of service from these huge, monster shops. And for us, that's a great client. So we find that some of the best clients that we got in 2019, as we reflected back over the years, were these sort of middle-sized business owners that had a little bit of a what have you done for me lately with their agent. Yeah, and I feel bad saying that because we value so much our clients that are so fiercely loyal to us. Yeah. So I hate to see somebody having that same quality for another agent that hasn't done anything for 20 years for them, just on autopilot. So I would say be in communication with your agent, meet with them, explain this is what's going on in my business. These are the things that are keeping me up at night. How can you help me manage this risk? And how can you help me prepare for what I'm planning to do in the next few years? Because the worst thing somebody can do is have insurance that they don't understand and have a coverage that they need be something that's not covered. And they had no idea because they never talked to their agent. They set it up online. They did it 20 years ago. Yeah. They're running a completely different business now than when they set it up. Yeah. It's pretty crazy the stuff that we can see. So
treat your insurance agent like you treat a banker, right?
Right. And another thing that I'll add, especially in the commercial insurance world that a lot of people don't understand, the way the commercial insurance world works, whichever agent requests the quotes first, the carriers will only give the quote to that agent. So I've seen folks that want to work with us, but their existing agent has already blocked everybody. So that's why you go back to that. I know a lot of people don't know that. I'm like, well, I could have helped you, but we're already blocked everywhere. So there's a little tidbit insurance intel for you.
Super useful, entertaining conversation about entrepreneurship, building businesses, friendship, long-term referrals, networking, how to
Of course,
use your
Costco
insurance.
got in there.
Costco got in there.
Costco got in there.
Whitney Ricci is the real Flo.
Oh,
right?
gosh.
From the commercial.
On Halloween.
On Halloween.
On Halloween.
No, you really have that personality. I think it's amazing, and it was really nice spending time with you.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thanks,
I
Whit.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Greg. Thanks.